What's up YouTube, jDantastic here, and welcome to Fortnite News at 8. Now, I don't know if this is always going to be an 8 o'clock time slot, but I want to start something new, and that is covering Fortnite news and updates and things that might potentially come out, because as many of you know, I am very much addicted to the game. Currently, it's pretty much all I've been playing non-stop, really, is just Fortnite, mostly on Twitch, where there's a link in the description below to my Twitch channel if you want to come out and hang out with me while I play Fortnite. We just had a sub night the other night where I played with a bunch of subs, and it was a ton of fun. So basically, I want to cover some rumors, some news, different kinds of things. I don't know how often this is going to be a thing. Probably fairly often, because the updates fly and rumors fly. I am definitely going to cover certain rumors and things that might not end up being true. It's just a place for discussion and excitement and appreciation for the game. So don't attack each other in the comments over what might be true and what might be false and blah, 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 blah. We're just here to have fun and have a really good time. If you're excited for this, if you think this is a good idea, please leave a comment down below and let me know. So, jumping right in, there is a site called Dexerto, and that is where I am getting most of the information for this video currently. I'm sure there's going to be multiple sources in the future, but currently, that's where I'm getting this information. There's a link in the description below for that as well, because I always want to cite my sources in case you want to go and check and see if they're reliable or not. And if they're not, then definitely please let me know with a comment as well. Or if they are reliable, I would love to know. But Dexerto is where we're getting the information from today. So starting out, we have some rumored weapons that are coming to the game, which are pretty crazy, if we're being honest. So the first is an Auto Shotty, which is a legendary rarity. So it's basically going to be an automatic shotgun, so kind of like the tactical shotgun, but it's going to fire a wide spread of pellets at an extreme fire rate. It can decimate crowds at a significant ammo cost. So I guess this is going to be... It's an extreme rate of fire, so I don't imagine it being as strong as the tactical shotgun, but it's going to have an even faster fire rate than the tactical shotgun, which is going to be pretty insane. Because, I mean, the tactical is already fairly dangerous, especially if you can get some headshots off. You know, 2 shots with the tactical, you're pretty much dead. So that's pretty insane. The second one that we're going to go over is the Hammer Crush, which is also a legendary rarity. This is an assault weapon, a slug gun, a rifle that fires slugs with high damage and impact, good accuracy, but relatively slow rate of fire and high per bullet cost. So this is kind of like it's an assault rifle that fires slug shots. So it's going to be, I guess, kind of a mix between a shotgun and an assault rifle. So it's got a slow fire rate. I don't know how this one is going to be implemented or not. This one seems kind of crazy to me. I guess it's going to probably have some severe damage, but it's classified as an assault weapon and not a shotgun. So I don't know, kind of strange there. The next one is the break action shotgun. This comes in legendary and epic rarity. So it's a shotgun with break action, deals high damage at a fast fire rate, short range, and a very limited magazine size. So it's probably 2 shots, unless it fires both, and then you break it and have to put 2 more in. So it would shoot 2 rounds per shot, basically. If you've ever seen like a break shotgun, you put 2 slugs in, bang. Some of them, it's bang bang. You can fire the slugs separately, or you can fire both at the same time. Break it open, put 2 more slugs in. Now, if this is going to have that high of a damage rate, then I would want it to be severely short range, especially because how much range is currently still on the pump shotgun. You can literally take someone out with the pump from across the room. So in my opinion, that range is already too long for a shotgun. But if this is going to have even similar or more damage than that, then I would want the range to be fairly short. Moving along, we have a light machine gun, also legendary and epic rarity. So this would be another assault weapon, a heavy weapon with high damage, an extreme rate of fire, and a huge magazine size. Very inaccurate unless aiming down the sights from a fixed position and firing in short bursts. So the way that I imagine this is a lot like the minigun, which is very impractical for kind of one-on-one fights or one versus a team of people. The minigun is not very practical, at least in my opinion. It's really only good for taking down forts, or if you're playing as a team, one of your teammates has the minigun and is firing constantly at their base and kind of mowing it down while you can focus on the players themselves. But even in like a solo game, I usually leave the minigun behind just because I don't find too much use for it in a solo game. I would much rather have explosives or things like that. So I see this kind of being similar to that, unless you kind of set up in your own base and if you are firing in short bursts, because the minigun does have a very slow startup time. So if this has a quicker fire time from when you pull the trigger, then it could be much more practical in that sense. The next one is the M249 Saw. This is an epic and rarity. So this is another assault weapon, hydraulic, slow firing rate, high impact automatic rifle with a large magazine. Slow firing, high impact automatic rifle. So I guess this is probably going to be a mix of like the scoped rifle with the assault rifle, I would imagine. A lot of these are kind of hard to imagine how they would really differ. So I guess it's probably going to be closer to the current assault rifle, not the burst rifle, but the assault rifle with a slower fire rate but a higher impact, so more damage than the assault rifle. So this is probably going to be for more long range battles, I would assume. It's not going to be too ideal for up close and personal fights, especially if it's going to have a slow firing rate. So that's how I would imagine that would be a little bit further away, probably like mid to long range versus like mid to short range. Because the assault rifle for me is good for kind of mid range. The burst rifle is a little bit more versatile in my opinion, but if you're short range, then obviously like an SMG or a shotgun is going to be, you know, pretty effective there. Last weapon that we're going to cover right now is the precision rifle. This is epic, rare, and uncommon rarities. So it's an assault rifle that fires tight bursts that allows for precise targeting in mobile mid-range engagements. Deals good damage, but it consumes its magazine very quickly. So this is going to be a little bit similar to the burst, which I do like. I do like the burst rifle. I'm starting to like it more and more. When I first started playing, I was very heavily weighted towards the assault rifle, but now that I've gotten a little bit used to the burst rifle, I really appreciate it more. And so I think that this would be a pretty welcomed addition, honestly, especially if it does have a little bit of a higher fire rate than the current burst rifle, which does pop pretty quick. But if this one's a little bit quicker, the downside being that you burn through the bullets, so you would have to be fairly accurate with it, but it does have a tight burst, which is something that lacks in the uncommon or rare burst rifles, is that they do kind of spread out a little bit. So if this had a tighter circle but it fires a little bit faster, I think that would be a pretty nice way to balance it out. So moving on to some traps and consumables, and these are the ones that are going to be a little bit crazy and probably harder to implement into the game. So they have an airstrike laser. This is going to be a legendary rarity, of course. So basically you are going to be able to mark a location with a laser, and an airstrike of 4 or 5 bombs is going to drop on that location. Obviously, very, very effective against bases, especially when most people congregate at the top of their base. If the bombs are dropping on top of this base, this is going to deal some massive, massive damage. So I don't know how well that's going to be implemented into Battle Royale. I believe they have something like this in Save the World already. But I don't know. That's going to be a little bit crazy. That's going to be a little bit crazy. It's effectively, it is an airstrike, and it's going to clear out a base rather quickly. So I don't know if this would be one for like the limited time modes where it's not something that's available all the time, but definitely interesting to see and something to keep your eye on. The next thing is the mother of all bombs, or the Moab, which is of course a legendary rarity. It's like a little handgun with a tiny rocket on top. You can see in the image over there, and it says it makes a big boom. So it's a little rocket but a big boom. So I would imagine this is something that you would be pointing at the base of someone's base, at the base of their base. Imagine that. So a lot like the rocket launchers, although rocket launchers are probably a little bit more versatile than this, probably a little bit faster fire rate. They're good for, you can hit them up and down. A lot of times, even, an annoyance for me, rockets are fairly good for close range. You fire them at their feet, they're dead. So this is probably, I would imagine, a little bit more geared towards base removal, firing it at the base, taking the lower level out, the rest of the base crumbles on top. That's how I imagine that coming in. Next up, we have the bottle rocket. The rarity for this is currently unknown. It hurls a grenade. So I guess this would actually be kind of cool. I do kind of like this concept because currently, right now, you know, throwing grenades are, in my opinion, not that effective. It's usually one of the things that gets left behind for me, mostly because they don't have a ton of range on them. They're a little bit impractical, especially in like a solo match where it's like a one-on-one exchange. If you happen to come across a grenade launcher, even that is not that great in my opinion, but much better than being able to throw the grenades. So this would be kind of cool and give some practicality to the hand grenades. The only question is would this be something that you just kind of set and it's like a mortar where you just kind of set it and aim it and then it fires a couple of grenades in that direction? Or is it something where you would actually put your grenades in and fire them the other way? Since this is a consumable, now that I think about it, actually, this probably would be something that you set down and it fires the rockets in the direction that you would point it, or maybe it acts like a trap. Hard to say on that one. Next up, we have a concussion mine. This is going to be an uncommon rarity. So it deals damage and slows nearby enemies when it's triggered. So probably less damage than a regular grenade. But the fact that it slows people down is actually pretty cool. So we don't really have too much like that currently in the game where you can kind of concuss somebody. We have the smoke grenades, but they're not that distracting. This would be kind of cool if it maybe like blurred their screen a little bit and made it, you know, a little bit harder for them to move around for a second. That would give you a pretty huge advantage over, especially if you can get it on a team. That would help out, you know, if it's like a 2v4 in squads or something like that. This could be very, very effective there. So an uncommon rarity is kind of cool if you come across those fairly frequently. Next up, we have the Der Burger helmet. We don't have images for these items, unfortunately, but we can cover them anyway. So basically, this is a corporate mascot helmet that protects from a single instance of critical damage. So effectively, if you're wearing this helmet, it's going to protect you from headshots. I don't know if it's going to be a full protection or if it's just going to severely limit the amount of damage that you take. So if you're running across an open field, you need to get across quick, but there's a sniper held up somewhere. You take a shot to the dome. It's not going to kill you immediately. It's going to help alert you of their location, and you can continue to move on from there. So that is pretty cool, and just another level of protection that you can throw on top of yourself. The next thing is a backpack, which is pretty cool. It increases inventory size. Now this, I don't know how practical this is necessarily going to be, because I guess it would allow you to carry more weapons likely, but other than that, I mean, is it going to increase the number of materials that you can have? Because I mean, 999 is a lot of materials anyway if you have that many. But I guess you could carry, like the things that you would normally leave behind, you could now carry. But obviously it's going to take time to switch things from the backpack to the, where you actually store your weapons when you're going into the fight. So I'm not quite sure how practical or how well that would work, but it does sound like cool, because there are a lot of times where I'm like, man, I really want to carry all this stuff. And I can, like you have to drop a gun for a med kit because you want to have a med kit as a backup or for emergencies or something like that. But now maybe with the backpack, you can throw all of your healing items in the backpack, keep all your weapons in the dock, and maybe use it that way. Don't know. Next item up for grabs is the beehive grenade. So that sounds a little bit ridiculous, but I would imagine it's slow damage over time. So similar to if you're trapped in the storm, this is how I'm picturing this. Basically, you toss the beehive grenade into a base or something or near a person, and they're kind of swarmed with bees, and it's kind of like short-term delayed damage. So it's like damage. It's not like a burst of damage. So that's kind of a cool concept as well, because it would be very distracting, and the damage per second that you could get off if you already have this on top of the bullets that you're then firing at a person, that could really add up quick. So kind of a cool and strange concept at the same time. And then the last one is a big poppy. This is of an epic rarity, and it's a self-inflating balloon that demands personal space. This one I'm not sure about. I'm not quite sure what to say about this one. It's a self-inflating balloon that demands personal space. That makes me feel like you would throw it into a base and then it expands and breaks the walls or something like that. At first I thought maybe you attach it to yourself and you could like float off somewhere, but it says it demands personal space. So now I'm imagining it being like, maybe it's a trap that you put in a room, and when they walk in, it inflates and like smashes them up against the wall or something like that. That one, I don't know. I'm a little bit confused on that one. Drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on what you think the big poppy could be. But ladies and gentlemen, we made it through. We made it through. That was a lot. That's a ton of stuff that may or may not be making its way into Fortnite. But huge shout out to Dexerto for putting all this information on a nice webpage. Again, that link is in the description below if you all want to check it out for yourself. But remember, drop a comment down below. Let's discuss all this stuff. I don't know. The more they put in this game, I'm excited about. Even if it doesn't work, even if they keep trying stuff, I am so happy with the way that they support this game, how fast they push out updates, and I'm really looking forward to some of these new things. Some of them sound really cool. Some of them I don't exactly know how they're going to be implemented, but a lot of them sound pretty cool, and I would be okay for at least trying them out, or if they just go into the LTMs, then that would be totally cool with me as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm going to do this a lot more as the updates roll in. I appreciate you stopping by. If you had a good time, make sure you hit that like button. Leave me some feedback down below. I'd love to hear it. If this is your first time stopping by, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I'm going to be continuing the Fortnite news segment. We'll have some Fortnite videos as well, and then there's a link in the description below to my Twitch channel where I stream Fortnite 5 or 6 nights a week, so that is there for you all as well. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'll talk to you in the next video. Later.